Hello and welcome to day 6 of my 12 days of DIY Christmas, where today we are going to be starting out with these cute little boots that I had gotten from Family Dollar a couple years ago. And just like with the little red glitter boots, I thought they were adorable, but I wanted to make them pink. So I decided to try covering them with this little pink and white felt blanket from the Dollar Tree. You can find it in the baby section. And just cut it down to approximate size of covering the surface. The gray material has a seam down the middle of the front of the boot, so I figured that that was probably the easiest way to place the material on by following what was originally there. But I think I like it a lot better on the second one that I end up showing you. I do it with the seam along the back side, and it's much cleaner, much nicer. It was actually a lot easier to do. Just a little row of hot glue along the edge there to make a nice seam. And then you see here as I'm working this around, I apparently cut off a little too much when I was making the seam, and it's having a hard time covering along the toe. And it goes a little sideways, but it's covered and you really don't notice it because there's a large floral arrangement that ends up going on the top of it, and all the attention goes there. Then I'm cutting out 3 rows off of the bling wrap to make a little band around the boot. Then I have these little gems that I had gotten from Amazon that I decided to put on the front of the boot to make it look kind of like a buckle. It's so cute. Very sparkly. And then now we're just going to put those floral pieces back in there, arrange them a little bit differently. And then I end up adding in a few pieces of boxwood and other little greenery pieces as well. I just wanted to fill it out a little bit more. And then I just filled this one in pretty much the same exact way, but from the opposite direction. I'm going to be placing them together, so I wanted one to fan out to the left and one to the right. And now we have our next project, which is this little set of books that are actually puzzles, but the cardboard that holds the puzzles is shaped like books. And I was able to take the puzzles out, and each one has its own little poster with it, so I was able to ruin these boxes and still be able to use the puzzles later. So I just go ahead and paint all of it, the outside of the box pink, and then on the little books I just paint the outer edge that's going to be visible because these are going to be glued inside. You'll never see that. I just run some glue along to seal them up and try to just make them as nice and shapely as possible. And I apologize, I keep moving out of frame, but I think you guys get the gist of what I'm doing. And then I've got some vinyl that I've cut into the names of 3 of our favorite Christmas movies around here. And then I'm mixing up some of my ultrafine glitter and Mod Podge and just going to coat over top of the front of the books with this particular mix because I don't want to cover up any of the words. And then I go in and add in some of my chunky glitter in white and pink and give it a nice really thick layer to give that little extra shimmer and pop to the books. Now I'm running hot glue around all of the seams in between the books and the box. And then I'm going to go through with this chunky glitter mix and add it over top of all of the glue lines and the seams and just try to make it feel a little bit more decorative, separate the books a little bit more, but mostly we're just trying to cover up those ugly seams. And then I just added a little bit of weight to it just to keep all of it pressed down nicely while it dried. And now we're going to add some ribbon around it. And I just glued some ribbon to the bottom side. And another layer of ribbon. And another. And because it has the wires in it, I went ahead and added extra hot glue around the edges to make sure it doesn't scratch any furniture. And I am terrible at making bows unless I'm using my bow maker. So I just went ahead and looped together some pieces of ribbon and glued them together, stacked on top of one another. Found a pretty gem that I like and went ahead and glued that right in the center and then attached it on top of the box. And now I'm just going to add in some greenery and some evergreen, some boxwood, and just dress it up a little bit. I had this wooden snowflake from one of the other projects and I went ahead and just attached it there to give it a little extra something. And then I went through with a dry brush with white chalk paint and just touched all that greenery and make it look like it's a little bit frosted. And here we have our final look of the little boots that we did. They are so cute. I love that sparkly band and that extra little gem on the front to just really make them pop. Like I said, it takes away from any of the seam issues because they're just too cute on their own. And the greenery, I like the way it fans out to each side as it's sitting there so it looks like a really nice full bouquet. and the final look of the books. And I think it turned out pretty darn cute. They look like they're realistic books inside of a bookcase. I like the way all the glitter turned out here on the front, filling in all of those seams. I hope that you've enjoyed watching today's projects as much as I've enjoyed creating them, and I can't wait for you to come back for day 7 of my 12 days of DIY Christmas.